Well, the field of Republican presidential candidates just got a little bit larger. Ben Carson launched his White House bid before a packed audience in Detroit, Michigan.
Now I've introduced my family. You say, well, who are you? I'll tell you. I'm Ben Carson, and I'm a candidate for President of the United States.
And businesswoman Carly Fiorina also joined the race. The former CEO of Hewlett-Packard said she understands how the economy works and pledged to reduce taxes and regulations on business owners. Meanwhile, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee plans to announce his candidacy on Tuesday. He won the Iowa caucuses in 2008 and has strong support in the evangelical community. Sanford Schram is a political science professor at Hunter College. He's here in New York City, and he joins us to discuss this fresh round of GOP presidential hopefuls. Welcome back to Arise America. It's good to see you, Sandy.
It's good to see you, Debbie.
Thank you so much for being here. Man, this field is really opening up. I guess it's not a surprise, what do you make of, and from the notes that I read, you're not necessarily a fan, let's just disclose that right now, of Ben Carson nor Carly Fiorina. Let's go through them one at a time. What are the things that concern you about Ben Carson?
Well, I think both Ben Carson and Carly Fiorina are helpful for the Republican Party. They add another layer or element of diversity to the field, an African-American male and a female. So that's good. They're both also not professional politicians, and some people consider that an asset. I think they're both probably not really qualified to be president of the United States.
Okay, I was waiting for the real answer there. You're giving the politically correct one there first. Let's talk about Ben Carson. Of course, he's revered in many circles because of his groundbreaking work as African-American neurosurgeon and his success there. Highly successful motivational speaker. But in these last few years, he's really made some very polarizing and very controversial statements, including criticizing the president within a few feet of him. Is he expected to be taken seriously?
Well, that remains to be seen. I think he did have his moment when he, at a breakfast prayer meeting, took the opportunity to have a 27-minute rant that was disparaging about the president's approach to things. And I think that was very inappropriate with the president being present at the time, and he became an instant wonder on the right for having the gumption to speak up that way and say what a lot of conservatives feel about the president. And I think his candidacy really doesn't extend much beyond that. And as time goes on, he has exhibited some rather unappealing qualities to speak extemporaneously and make factual errors and exaggerate, express interest in outlandish conspiracy theories. This shows he's well beyond his element as an award-winning neurosurgeon.
And let's talk about Carly Fiorina. She seems to be positioning herself as the anti-Hillary.
Well, if she's going to be, it looks like the only woman in the Republican field, and again, I say that that's really helpful and important. I think it's good for the Republican Party to pursue diversity. Unfortunately, she, too, hasn't really had much of a track record to go on. She's running on the fact that she was the chief executive of Hewlett-Packard for a few years, and she claims that enables her to be the person who really understands how the economy works. But if you read what she says about economic policy, you start to wonder whether she really knows very much about economic policy at all. And her track record at Hewlett-Packard was quite questionable. Some people say she's the cause of 30,000 people losing their jobs because she made some really bad strategic decisions.
And also not to forget the fact that she did run for the California Senate and lost spectacularly there.
Yeah, she ran in 2010 against Barbara Boxer, and a lot of these problems about her background came up then.
Quickly, let me ask you to put on your prognosticating spectacles. Do you think Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey, will deign to throw his hat in the ring?
Well, I think it really depends on what happens with the investigation regarding Bridgegate. I think it really depends on what Bridget Kelly, in particular, is willing to say about who in the governor's office knew what when. And there's already some questions about that, she's intimated that she definitely knows that she wasn't the only one. And I think already looks really bad for Christie.
That is to be continued, and this is a long race, not a short sprint, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about this some more.
Yeah.
Sandy Schram, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the penalty phase is continuing in the Boston Marathon bomber trial. Johar Tsarnaev displayed emotion for the first time since the trial began. He wiped away tears as his aunt took the stand on his behalf. She sobbed so uncontrollably that the judge suggested the defense call a different witness so she could compose herself. One of Tsarnaev's cousins later testified that the convicted bomber was a warm-hearted child who cried while watching The Lion King. And still to come on Arise America, there wasn't a knockout, but there was a fallout from the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Critics saying it fell way short of the hype.